Hi, it's William. Welcome to Long Finance Free. So let's talk about carry arbitrage. So carry arbitrage is a technique that we used in the derivative trading. So basically, it's an arbitrage. So we are going to do something, and that does not involve us actually invest a lot of money, but we can gain. So that's the basic concept of arbitrage. You don't need to bear the risk as long as you offset the just offset the risk, offset the opening. Okay, so let me just give you an example. So when analyzing the derivative problem, I tend to make a timeline. Okay, so here's time 0, and here is the specific time t. And things is a arbitrage, so we're going to borrow money. We're not going to use our own money. So at time 0, we're going to borrow some money, and we borrow that money to, because we're going to carry, which means that we are going to carry the underlying asset. So basically, carry means carry assets. And we are going to carry the asset all the way till at the time t. Okay? So if you want to buy that specific asset, so you want to get this asset, and asset do have a certain price. Okay? So I'm going to name this, I think it's just sort of convention, with S0. So you're going to borrow that amount of money. So you're going to borrow money in order to buy that S0 asset at time 0. And once you got that asset, you're going to carry that into the future in order to arbitrage, right? So you borrow this and you buy this S0 asset. You're going to hold it until time t. And while you are at time t, you're going to sell it. So, if you sell that at time t, you're going to have a selling price. So if you sell that at a specific price, and that price can, because you're borrowing money, you use the money that you sell and you repay the money that you owned. If there's more, you're going to gain. If there's less, you're going to suffer a loss. So that's really, really simple, right? So the tricky part is how much you're going to sell at that specific time. So I'm going to say the money that you are going to sell is that stocks, maybe it's the bond or something like that. It's just underlying asset. And I use S for underlying assets. So underlying asset that you are holding. And the 0 or the t represent at that specific time the asset price. So you buy that or you sell that, there is a fair market price at the market, and that will be represented by S0 or ST, or you can say ST, something like that. So if there is a time here, you want to check the like the quoting, and you can get a specific price. Okay, we will talk about this later. Right now, let's just simplify the question. And of course, the assets that I'm mentioning right now do not have any of the cash flow. So just like a simple asset. So for example, gold. It will not generate like interest or like cash. There's no cash flow occurred. Okay, so at the t time, you will have a specific price. So that price would be ST. And if you sell that while you're holding this, you sell that in the future. And if you are going to get more money when you pay this borrowed money, you're going to have a gain. If you don't have enough money, you'll have a loss. Really, really simple. And this way, you can do something like this. So here comes to some mathematics. So basically, you're going to use this S0, ST and you're going to subtract the money because you're going to repay the money, right? And the money you're going to repay is not S0. You might think that, hey, I bought a S0 at the time 0, you're going to pay back S0. In fact, it's not the case because you're going to consider interest. So, for example, the interest is, say, R for 1 year, okay? So for 1 year, it'll be 1 plus R. But for time t, you're going to use this. Of course, if you consider the like a continuous compounding, you might got some E and then RT. We will talk about that later. Right now, let's just simplify the problem. Okay? So, you're going to consider interest. The S0 you're going to pay back will no longer be S0, but rather you'll be 1 plus a specific interest rate and compounded with the time t. Of course, you can simplify this with ST subtract the future value of S0. And if you have to calculate that, you have multiple methods to calculate that. You can simplify it with this. Of course, you can use this simplified version of calculation. And if this means a positive number, you're going to gain. If it's a negative number, you're going to suffer a loss. So that's the logic behind all that.